Hi folks, welcome to Game 2 of the Battlefields Middle-earth Kirton Games tournament. This time up against Connor and his High Elf army. It is two warbands, one warband of foot troops led by Eladin and Elohir, the two sons of Elrond, and there are two at the front there, and he's also got Arwen leading the cavalry contingent. The battle is, I think it's the Contest of Champions, where our heroes are set up right in the middle, surrounded with everyone else, and then it's your main scoring point is for your hero to kill more than the opponent's hero does. Also bonus points, I think, for killing the opponent's hero as well. So this should be interesting, because Isildur will be taking on two elf heroes. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So with the basic setup, as you can see here, my main plan is to stay as much within this building as I can, and his cavalry can't really charge very much and smash any big holes through my lines. I mean, the main advantage here I have is my number and spears, so I'll be chucking as many numbers as I can, surrounding the elves as I can, and just mop up as much as I can. While Isildur, if needs be, sticks the ring on, and hopefully he can defeat the two elf brothers, but we'll see how that goes. Also, my opponent's got no banners, which is really important since I've got two. So since I've got elves mostly in my front line, supported by Numenor and spearmen at the back where I can, or vice versa, we're equaling at least on fight, but I do have the banners just to give me that edge in the combat. So I believe my opponent moved first, and yeah, I think so, because I didn't get many of my... Oh no, I must move first, because I did manage to get most of my men through the doorways where I could, and just trying to run away from the cavalry where I can. Therefore, just forming up the lines. In the combats in between, I'm wondering if my opponent actually called... Yeah, I think he might spend a might here to actually move before me, because most of his stuff was in 6 inches of the hero that did it, which was fine with me. I let him do that. So he moved what he could, and then my other chaps moved away the best they could to save me from the cav. Yeah, as I said, I'll try and find the doorway to stop the cavalry getting too many models on each individual. And the combat in the front, his general, which is the elf with the sword up. He's got one of the sons there, and the other one is the brother who'll be taking on a guy next to Isildur. So in the shooting phase, my shots come down and manage to clink off a spearman. And then, yeah, as you can see in the combats here, my opponent's going to call a heroic strike, I believe. Yeah, a heroic strike with the elf that's actually fighting Isildur himself, and heroic combat with the other elf fighting the elf next to him. Obviously, the idea being is to kill that elf and then join in, and with that strike, hopefully be high. And yes, Isildur did put the ring on, to keep him hopefully somewhat safe. So only a couple of models lost on either side, and that combat, I believe I actually won it. I think when all said and done, it was halved his fight, so he went down to 3, and I think with his heroic strike he boosted it back up to 6, and then won the roll off. So it was pretty close. I mean, that was 2 hero elves hammering down Isildur. So the ring alone pretty much saved him there. So yeah, the rest of the fight, you can see just a few casualties either side. The Numenorian standing in the doorway there trying to block him off died, and I managed to kill an elf on the top end there. So in the next turn, my opponent uses his cavalry to pick off all the guys that were left outside. I mean, I knew I was going to lose these guys, that's why I was trying to desperately run them into the doorways to reduce the amount of cavalry charges. And I'm already starting to spot the opening at the other side with an elf there. And if I can mop up a few of these elves at the top end here, I should be able to bring more spear support then to try and hold this cavalry charge coming through. Again, as I said, it'll be equal fights, but I'll have the banners, and hopefully the banners and plenty of attacks, I should be able to hold the cavalry at bay in time for me enough just to mop up what's on the other side, because I think it's at probably 2 to 1 on the other fights there, so I have a good chance of breaking my way through. Once again, my elf bowman picked up another spearman support. That was it. Other than that, the fights are, as you can see, I only ended up fighting one elf now. His legendary elf, fearing his lower fight, has gone off to try and slay my captain. Of course, in doing so in this scenario, if your hero kills another hero, you gain a might back. Because I think he is down to the one might. And that was a bit worrying him enough that he didn't want to fight Isildur as it is. But the other brother decides to take him on. And as you see here, yep, not a load of casualties either side. Again, in the doorway, I think I actually won that one and killed somebody off. I think one of these guys caught outside died. And more importantly, I actually managed to slay the other brother with Isildur. His strength 5 is pretty brutal. These guys, even though they're not wearing armour, are actually the armoured models. And he actually nearly slays my elf captain. It came down to a fate roll for him, but he survived it, stopping him gain the extra might. So I think he's at 0 might for him, which is fantastic now if I can pick on him. So annoyingly, this turn I actually lose control of Isildur, and I just pen him in with my troops just to protect him while he can't do anything, since I've got no control of him. And just to stop my opponent running him out into the open somewhere stupid. Other than that, the fights are stuck in, as you can see. I end up charging the rest of my warriors in against his hero, Elahir or Eladan, or whichever one it was. Mainly because I didn't want him to get my captain and get the extra points of might for killing him. So as you can see here, he is well surrounded, stuck in the middle there, surrounded with elves and men. Yeah, it's really a shame I didn't have Isildur. Isildur would have loved that, so he could have cut through some of the back support and probably could have got in there with a heroic combat. But as it is, it's just the head of a cavalry model on the right hand side that's just popped around this corner. But everything else is looking alright. My captain is out of combat at the moment, which is a shame. I want to really chuck him against Arwen. But up until now he's a bit trapped in. My cluster of setting up in such a small area meant I couldn't get all the manoeuvrability that I wanted. As you can see here from this shot, my shooting again, they're not doing a lot up there, but they are taking out the spear support. So that's 3 turns and 3 spearmen down, so which is a big loss to my opponent because it's such a small warband, and a nice little boon for me. The one thing I was worried about, actually, my archer's being shot off by his cav, since the Rivendel knights have bows, but he never actually stopped to shoot with any of them. So as you can see here, his hero managed to kill off 2 of my elves. He's now pumping out strength 4 with 3 attacks. Strength 5 with 3 attacks, so he is down to defense 5, which is okay. If his brother dies, his defense goes down by 1, his strength goes up by 1, and has to try and charge the guy that kills him. So he's now got 2 kills, unfortunately, while Isildur, because he's in a dormant state, has only actually got 1 kill, because he actually managed to kill off the brother. At the top, I managed to kill off the 1 elf cavalry, but most of the rest here, my losses were against the cavalry and stuff. I lost a guy, and Arwen actually managed to lose as well, and got pushed back. She has been trying to knock my guys over. She's managed it once, but thankfully to my magical resistance that I get on my Numenorians, even if my heroes aren't in range, I have had a chance to stop it, and I think I have stopped it once already. So in the next turn, we're running low on time here, so we're trying to get these rounds picked up. At the moment, his leader is actually winning because he's killed 2 people and I've killed 1. So in this round, Isildur, who I managed to control, still wearing the ring, is going to charge in and try and finish him off. If I can get rid of him, I'm going to be calling heroic combat and just to try and kill one other guy off to get me in the lead on that. And of course then I kill his leader. Everywhere else, I'm just surrounding whatever else I can. I'm just trying to put bodies in to slow the cavalry down and countercharge them where I can. If I can just break my opponent as well, that's just more victory points to me. So in the final turn here, I thought then I was going to lost one of my archers, but no, they actually jumped down and start getting into the fight now. Isildur does what I ask him to, and he takes out the enemy general, and then does a combat, heroic combat, and marches over to get into another fight. I managed to kill them, which means I managed to go a whole mighty 3 to my opponent's 2. Well, it wasn't big kills on our heroes, unfortunately, but it was enough to get me the win. Unfortunately, not the double. If I could have just killed a couple more, would have been nice. But everywhere else, yeah, my Numenorians and my elves just starting to mop up now. The enemy force is broken, and I think some actually failed some of their courage checks as well, so that's pretty brutal. But that was the end of the game, and it was another victory to my elves and Numenorians, and just yeah, it was a scrape through. It was complete luck that I managed to get into a second combat, because I killed most of the elves at the top there. They're all my blinking elves. So I was running long combats to get into, but thankfully there was one elf. I think it's actually the dismounted cavalryman that charged in earlier on. So I killed his horse. It's easier than killing the elf on top. So he actually managed to get into the fight with that there after killing off the enemy hero, which pushed me to get the victory points for that. So all in all, it was good, and it probably wasn't bad on victory points. It obviously wasn't the full 12. My opponent's broken, I wasn't. I managed to score more, which I think is like 5. So I've probably been like a 7 or 9 pointer. So it wasn't a big score, but it was enough to get me a win there.